Hello everyone, so now we're going to be working on the first clarinet part of Grand Galop, the circus march. Remember, we discussed this in our sectional. Circus march should be fun, it should be light, and it should be very bouncy. So if you notice with a lot of these parts, there are a lot of accents. We want them established, but we don't want them too heavy because that will make us sluggish. And it should be felt, if you look at the very beginning, 1 beat per measure. So that means we're going to be feeling the macro beat. So we should be feeling it in 1, even though that it is like written in 2/4, obviously. So there are 2 beats per measure, but we want to feel it in 1. So just starting at the beginning, I'm going to count it for you. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I messed that last bit up, but if you noticed, I did start at the beginning, count all the way through the first ending, and then where the repeat mark is written in, we go back to measure 5, and then we play from measure 5 again, all the way through measure 16, and the second time, instead of going through the first ending, we skip ahead to the second ending. So if you keep forgetting where to go whenever we repeat back to 5, take your pencil and circle measure 5 so that you have a visual indicator of where we're going. I want you to count this with a metronome on the macro beat. So I don't want you to listen to 2 beats. We're going to try to feel it in 1. And something that helps me is kind of counting in a circular motion. So it's 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. That helps me just a little bit just to get the feel so it's moving along. I'm not holding back. I'm not moving in between the beats. It's right in time, and there's an established 1. When we're in the full ensemble playing this with everybody, we're really going to want to put emphasis on beat 1 of every measure. And if you pay attention, there are a lot of accents on beat 1. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you starting at the beginning. I'm going to play through the first ending, go back to 5, and then play through the second ending. So a few things that I hope you noticed in there is that there are a lot of dynamic changes, a lot of hairpin dynamics. So we start forte, then we pull back to mezzo forte, then we crescendo and decrescendo back to mezzo forte. So it's kind of staying in forte, mezzo forte land. There shouldn't be any too big of a difference anywhere. We're not getting soft. We should always be playing confidently. And whenever you're going into the fortes, make sure you really push. It'll help us get our accents out because a lot of our accents are on parts where we have forte written in. Make sure that you're playing all of the accidentals out as well. I remember discussing this in our sectional. Wherever you see an accidental, that's an interesting note. It's not in the key, so it's really, really imperative that you play it out, that you bring it out, because when we're in the full ensemble, it's going to be a little bit of a sparkle in the music. Also, I want you to pay special attention to the pickup to 25. This is the end of the second ending. We have an F sharp, and that's the last note of measure 24. And then 25, we have an F natural. So I believe we went over this in class as well, but just to refresh your memory, we're playing F sharp 1 and sliver key. Because then when we go to F natural, all we have to do is pick up that finger. It's going to be a lot easier than flipping between these when we're playing it fast. So it should go G, F sharp, F. And I'm going to go ahead and play that for you. I know you can't see my fingers, but this is something that you should be practicing on your own. We're going to try that again. And it really helps if you blow through the accidental. And it shouldn't be blippy or anything. There shouldn't be any random notes in there because all you're doing is lifting up that finger. All right. So that's the first section. Now we're going to move on to 25. When you look at that first section, I want you to count it, and I want you to count with correct dynamics and with the correct style. So wherever you see accents, you should be counting with the accents, feeling macro pulse, and count it by itself, then count and finger, put it on a concert F if you need to, and then put it on the correct notes. But for now, we're going to move on. We're looking at measure 25, and when we look ahead to 25, we also need to pay attention that beat 2 of 24 is a pickup into 25. So every time that you count or practice measure 25, you need to make sure that you're adding those pickup notes into it. Otherwise, you're not practicing the whole phrase, because those pickup notes are the beginning of the phrase and they're very important. And it'll also help you practice the switch between F sharp and F natural. So I'm going to go ahead and start counting. 2 te 1, te 1, 2, 1 te 2, 2, 1 te 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, te 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, te 1, 2, 1, te 1. And I messed up that last bit there. It should be 2 te 1, especially since we kick it up to a forte dynamic. Make sure that you are counting with the accidentals at measure 35, not accidentals, I'm sorry, accents at measure 35, and that you're doing those dynamics right before measure 33. Again, we have a first ending and a second ending for this one, so if you need to, either use your mental pencil on your finger to circle the repeat sign at 25, or take a physical pencil and write it in so that you never forget it and you can always find it. And again, the ending of the first ending, like the last two notes, make sure you're playing F sharp with your sliver key. So when we get to 25, all you have to do is pick up your ring finger, and also make sure that the first time we play this, if you notice in your part, it's written mezzo piano, and the second time that we play it, it should be forte. I'm going to go ahead and play it for you, but right now I do want you to practice counting before putting it on your instrument. So I hope you could hear my dynamic differences, my accents, and the style that I was putting on. Remember, it should be very, very light and bouncy. It's a march, but it is a circus march, so we don't want it too stompy. It should sound fun, like you're playing, you want to dance, something like that. Moving on to section 43, measure 43. Remember, the pickup note into 43 is a part of the phrase at 43. So whenever we're counting, we should start on beat 2 of 42. Also notice that there's a big dynamic difference here. That's very important. And also on 43, we have a key change. This is something that we practiced a lot in class. So make sure that you are playing B flats now. Go ahead and take your finger and find your first B flat in your part and circle it. If you need to, get your pencil and circle it just so you don't miss it. And just so that we're all in the same place, the very first B flat that you play is in measure 49. Again, here you want to bring out accidentals. So we have G sharps, and G sharps are your side key. And sprinkled in there, we also have some A's. So whenever you go A, G sharp, A, make sure that you're not staying on the G sharp key when you go up to an A, because then you're going to get the wrong note out. Later on, we have G natural again, and we also have B natural. So I know that we were playing B naturals in the section before this, but now since the key has a B flat, B natural is considered an accidental, so you have to bring that out. Also in measure 52, we have F sharp, so F sharp should be first finger, no thumb. And then looking ahead, we're just going to go through measure 59 for now. So 43 through 59, I'm going to count it. Remember, we're adding the pickup note in there. I'm going to count it for you, and then I want you to practice this on your own. 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. And right there I ended at 59. So for this section, remember, we're piano, but that does not mean no energy. We still need energy throughout all the notes. The accidentals are so interesting. That should give us enough energy just to get through this. I'm going to play it for you just so you can hear what it sounds like. talking about this in the sectional as well. This is a little bit more of a lyrical section. Remember, we're playing all those really fun chords with the other clarinet parts. So really bring out the accidentals, kind of crescendo into them and then pull back. So, for example, I'm going to start at measure 51, and I want you to listen. Although we're starting at piano, there's a lot of room for phrasing. We want this to sound like a song right here. This is an interesting section because it does have a key change and a style change. All right, moving on, we're going on to 59. Again, this is still part of the same style. The only reason I split this up is because both of the sections are very long and there's a page turn, and I don't think I can make that page turn and play. So starting at 59, I'm just gonna count, and I want you to try this on your own as well. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Again, there are interesting notes. So I remember in our sectional we discussed building into the C sharp D in measure, I think it's 64. So make sure that you're kind of crescendoing into that all the way to 67. All right, so I'm gonna play this for you real quick. Ouch. Just starting at 59. So remember, this is a very lyrical section of the piece, and you should be thinking about the other clarinet parts when you're practicing this on your own. Okay, so I'm going to look ahead to the section between 75 and 83. I'm going to count this rhythm. It repeats again between 83 and 91, and then again between 91 and 95. It's a little bit different there, but for the most part, it's the same. So I'm just going to count these 4 bars. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. There's a lot of accents here. We're going back to the original march style where there's a lot of emphasis on beat 1 and there's a lot of space between the notes. It's not as lyrical. We're not really singing through our instruments. This is more of the march section. I'm going to go ahead and play this on the correct notes, but again, when you're at home doing this, I would like you to play it on a concert F first, just to get the rhythms correct and then put it on the right notes. It should be that easy. There's just 4 bars there, so you can practice that with the measures between 83 and 91 and 91 into 95 as well, but I want you to look at the differences in the notes. So between 83 and 91 we have E flats, just a reminder, thumb, register, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then your top pinky key on your right hand. That is how you play an E flat. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. Oh yeah, E flat to C. Because our E flat is in our right hand, we can't slide down, so we have to make sure that we're using our left hand C's. So E flat, E flat, E flat, E flat, E flat, E flat, C, C, D. So just make sure that you're putting down your left hand for C. Write that in your part if you need to. And then we go back to E naturals 91 to 95. And there's also a dynamic difference there. I didn't do a great job at that, but at 91 we dropped down to a mezzo forte and crescendo all the way back to a fortissimo, so make sure that that is a very big difference between the two. All right, looking at 95, this is kind of the last section of the piece here. I'm just gonna look at 95 to the end. The rhythms here are much easier. I think you can count them on your own. Remember, we're counting with dynamics and the correct style, so look at those accents. But for the sake of time in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and just play it for you so that you know what it sounds like. few things in there. We're going back to the kind of lyrical style. Remember, all of these need to be a little bit more connected than all of the space between the accents in the earlier march sections. This is kind of like another part where you're singing with the other clarinets and everybody else in the band. This is where everybody comes together. It's the grand ending. Everything is at fortissimo. There can never be enough clarinet playing, so make sure that you really bring that out. Remember, B naturals are still not in the key, so those are considered accidentals and you need to bring them out. And then looking at measure 105 and 106, if you see, we have a C and then a D sharp. So D sharp is the same as E flat. This is what we talked about earlier. So thumb register 1 2 3 1 2 3 and then top pinky. And then whenever we get our C, we want to make sure that we're playing it on our left hand so we're not sliding, because we do go from C to E flat, and then there's also a part where we go E flat to C, and we can't have this nonsense because that's not going to sound great. So go ahead and count the section 95 to the end a few times, then count in finger, put it on a concert F, and then play it on the correct notes. I really hope this video was helpful for you. It's fun to make these, but I can't wait to see you in person again. So good luck practicing. Happy practicing. I'll see you soon, hopefully.